As you probably heard, Spider-Man stopped the crime boss Hammerhead's thugs from robbing the Museum of Contemporary Art. Good for him, right? Wrong! They nearly demolished the place and everything in it! They were shooting rocket launchers indoors! See, even if you assume good intentions, which I do not, this is the problem with Spider-Man. He escalates every situation into an apocalyptic disaster. What good is it to save the art from being stolen if you blow it up? Now, I realize this is pretentious, navel-gazing modern art. Soup cans and ink splatters that look like they were splashed on by a drunk elephant. But I'm not an art critic. I just know what I don't like. And I do not like that webbed menace trashing our public spaces! If you followed my career, and of course you have, you know I notched my first big bylines covering the Maggia crime families. The media's declared them dead more than once, but not unlike cockroaches, they always come back, just like they're doing now. I hear people make excuses for them. They're not so bad. They follow rules, unlike the demons or the cartels. Ha! And that's true. Until they go to war with each other. Then bullets fly, cars explode, horses lose their heads. And my Jonah sense tells me there's a gang war brewing. So hold on to your cannolis, folks. Come on, Jared, that's not an ethnic slur. I like cannolis. The Maggia, a syndicate of crime families, symbols of a bygone era. Don Fortunato, Don Cicero, Don Macchio, just to name a few. And of course, that metal-domed lunatic Hammerhead. Criminals, but ones who follow a code. Better than most, right? Wrong! They toss their code out the window the second it's inconvenient, because a criminal is a criminal, and they are by definition cowards, lowlifes, and scum. I brought down the Maggia virtually single-handed in the 80s and early 90s, and let me tell you right now, I stand ready to do it again. I am not afraid of them, not one bit. You want me? Come and get me. That's all the time we have. Jared, go start the car. No, I'm the boss, and I say you do it. Oh, stop crying. Guess who's confirmed to be back in town? That feline felon, the Black Cat. Seems she led Spider-Man on a merry chase before getting away. Ever notice how that happens a lot with him and her? Funny how he can hold on to a dinosaur man or a human rhino with no problem, but a mere slip of a girl gives him so much trouble. Look, it's not that long ago when I was a young man myself. I get it. And I said a gams, a shapely derriere, a few batted eyelashes, and a hormone-addled youth can easily get hornswoggled, which is exactly why Spider-Man has no business handling this. Leave it to the professionals. We have lady police officers now. Maybe this is a chance for them to prove they're as good as men, which I have no doubt about, but there are less forward-thinking people out there. The internet's rife with footage of Spider-Man chasing the Black Cat across the rooftops. And apparently, there are hordes of young people cheering them on. They're called shippers. No, that has nothing to do with boats. It's short for relationship. As in, they really want Spider-Man and the Black Cat to be together romantically. Or they really don't. And they have quite intense arguments about it. Flame wars, I believe, is the term. You know, in my day, we didn't have time for flame wars about shipping. You know why? Because we had jobs. So here's Jonah Jameson's public service announcement to our youth. You're into shipping? Join the Navy! Bar fights are nothing new in this town. But the one that cleared out the Blackwing Tavern wasn't just your typical beer-fueled brawl. That particular establishment has, let's say, alleged ties to the Maggia. And guess who was right smack in the middle of it? Spider-Man and the Black Cat. At this point, I think it's fair to ask, who is on whose side here? Are Spider-Man and the Cat working for rival Maggia families? or the same one? Or, and remember, I always think 10 steps ahead, are they starting their own family? Huh? 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 It would explain a lot about why Spider-Man, who clearly has no respect for the law, takes down criminals. Less competition for him and his gun mall floozy. We might just have Bonnie and Clyde in spandex on our hands. You youngsters won't recall, but there was an earlier Black Cat. A criminal from the old school. And of course, like everything else these days, they had to reboot it with a woman. Now, no one loves women more than Jonah Jameson. In a respectful, non-harassing way, of course. I just think this new Black Cat is a bad example for our young ladies. The original stole and took his chances. He didn't try to convince us he could be a good guy like this Jezebel did, remember? She ran around playing the crime fighter until it became clear she was stealing from the very crooks she arrested, which proves the point I always make: a Black Cat cannot change its spots. I know they don't have spots, but you get my meaning. Wait. Jared tells me black leopards do have spots. You just can't see them. I was right after all. Ha! My loyal listeners have called in reports of Spider-Man recklessly vandalizing public works, smashing open power relay boxes and other structures relating to important public and private services. Some have even said it appears he's looking for something, but he never leaves with anything. My friends, I think it might be time to consider that Spider-Man might just be a few sprinkles short of a sundae. Not that dressing up like a bug and swinging around the city is the behavior of a well-adjusted individual, but now, either he's looking for things that aren't there, meaning he's delusional, or he's venting uncontrollable rage. And either one of those possibilities means it's time to call the man in the white coats with big butterfly nets. That's still a thing, right, Jared? What do you mean it never was?